Mr. Snoopy here is a 7-month-old Yorkie, and we are teaching him leash pressure. And I don't care how big or small your dog is, we need them to be able, with fingertip pressure, follow your leash anywhere. All right, folks, so we have Mr. Snoopy. Mr. Snoopy here is about a 7-month-old Yorkie, and we are teaching him leash pressure. This is his second lesson on leash pressure, and we're teaching him leash pressure sits, downs, stands, and also coming forward with the leash pressure. It's vitally important that this dog understands leash pressure and is what we would call fingertip pressure responding, so he doesn't try to fight the leash pressure and damage his trachea or his neck. We actually have him hooked up to what we would call a micro prong collar. We really like teaching leash pressure with prong collars when we can, and if not, we'll use a slip lead. But for him, his neck is so fragile that the prong collar is actually a better tool, because instead of putting all this pressure on his trachea and crushing it, we're just poking 360 around his neck. Poking is never going to crush anything if you're just poking. So we're going to go ahead and poke him into an SIT. So it starts with lifting up, yes, and when he does, we mark it and we pay. Now, the one he was struggling with yesterday was when we pulled down. Yes, now, there's something to pay attention to. Watch how I don't use leash pressure, but he's going to follow my hand up. Let's see if we can demonstrate that. Yes. So I'm not really using leash pressure. It's more of a hand command, yes, that's making it happen. Not the end of the world, but just don't think you're teaching your dog leash pressure when really they're just following your hand around. So instead, what we might actually do is get his attention up towards us, and while he's looking at us, yes, he feels the leash pressure. Again, that was a little bit of leash pressure, but also him watching what my hand does. Watch what I do with my foot. So we'll go ahead and get him into a sit. While he's in this sit, we're gonna go ahead and cheat the tiniest little bit of pressure. Oh, he's getting so slick with it. He's also doing what we call being in the rhythm, going up and down, so it's a little tricky to show you. I want the leash pressure to stand for itself. Let's leash pressure him up. Oh, nice, that was a good one. So he's already crushing it. We've taught him this now in like 1.5 sessions. I'm just giving him a different picture. I'm pulling this way. Yes, just to see what he does. I want him to learn to turn the pressure off. Yes, by going with the pressure. And here comes the pressure right now. Yes, good boy. Let's do a little bit of forward leash pressure. I think this is the one he's going to struggle with. Now, there's an interesting thing. Most dogs are very averse to leash pressure. I'm going to pull him forward. And let's see what he does to turn it off. He may try to fight it. He might push it back against it. My job is to maintain that pressure until he goes with it. If he fights it, I maintain. So the harder he pulls back, the worse it is for him. The more once he decides to take one step forward, we mark and reward. Pull means come forward for food. Pull means come forward for food. You can do the same with sits and downs. So let's try that out. Put him in a down so he's a little planted. Perfect. Here comes the pressure. Forward. He like army crawled. I'm gonna pull him slightly up and forward this time. Yes, if you can see, and it's happening on a very, very like small scale, tenths of a second, that I'm pulling, and this time I won't help him. Let's see what he does. I'm pulling. Yes, see that time he's like, what do you want from me? But because we had 2 nice clean reps before that, he goes, well, maybe I just go with it. This is a good one. Why? Because I expect him to fight this. And now you'll see what will happen when he fights it, how I help him through the fight. Pressure comes on, fighting. And now let me help him. In fact, I could use another hand here. So, because he hasn't stood up yet, so I'm keeping the pressure on, but I need another hand. Reach up under his tummy and get his butt up. The butt up will get him paid, and I'll release the pressure. Yes. Let's try again. A little pressure forward means butt up. Yes. Should be able to do it by myself now. Pressure forward means butt up. Yes. Now on a larger dog, you can use your actual foot, right? So imagine this is my foot coming in. I'm not saying kick your dog. I'm just saying come in under them. And most dogs are going to want to naturally avoid, hey, what's that touching? Yes, just like that. Just a little touch, a little guidance. So it's leash pressure combined with a little bit of fingertip pressure, like a tactile command. So pressure forward means yes, look, that was a beautiful rep. Very happy with that. Now, if you had a third hand, you could do this, combined with food. Yes, so we have the hand command. Let's try again this way. Yes, hand command's money, which of course means that the food command is money. The food lure, look, the food lure's money. Well, let's test the leash pressure. Yes, I like that one, it's decent. It's not a competition style sit. I don't really care for this little guy. Yes, you notice I'm pulling kind of upwards. I want to also generalize the leash pressure. This, yes, also means this. Yes, it does. Why? Because you may not always be able to deliver that perfectly vertical leash pressure. What if I go back a little bit? What if I go this way a little bit? Maybe he's standing this far away from me and I can't. Maybe this is the best I can offer. Let me put him in a down real quick. Oh, nice. Yes, perfect. He's learning that the reward in and of itself is just the pressure being turned off. So here we are. We got him way up here. Now this is a little mean, kind of a setup, but we're gonna have his attention up. But I'm gonna pull him down, and he's gotta trust the pressure. Trust the pressure. Go with the pressure, don't fight it. Let's do another one, the opposite. See, that one's better. That means even if the food's down here, if I leash pressure you, that's me creating my own distraction. Here's my own distraction. Maybe this is the waitress with food. And he's like, oh, I'd love some of that food. Except the owner's saying, go into a down. This is super, super light fingertip pressure. And I don't care how big or small your dog is, we need them to be able, with fingertip pressure, follow your leash anywhere. That way you're not getting dragged down the street. He's not choking himself out. The leash pressure is what's gonna give you that unbelievable reliability. That way, if he is distracted and I tell him to sit, but he doesn't want to, then I can help him. In other words, I can make him. Help or make him. Good job, Bubba. Food lure, hand command, and the leash pressure command. Now I can name it. I can actually use those three tools to help me name it. What would that look like? I'm gonna give you 3 reps of each. So food's ready. Wait for him to kind of be engaged with me. Sit and help. That's a food lure help. This time with no food. Sit, hand command. I think the leash pressure is even cleaner. So of the 3, pair your voice with the one that's the cleanest. So now we're gonna pair the voice with a leash pressure command to SIT. So what does that look like? You say the command, and within a half second or a second, pair it with something. In other words, this means this. Sit. Perfect. And now we'll do it from a stand. Sit. Perfect. Sit. So those are 3 or 4 reps in a row of leash pressure. Let's vary it with food. Sit. Perfect. I want to say his leash pressure is looking cleaner and better than even the food or the hand lure. Thank you all very much for watching. See you in the next lesson.